Checking connection.
We are live.
Connection. Oh, we're live on Facebook. And we're live on YouTube.
Oh, look at the screen. Oh, that's confusing. To share that.
Live on Instagram. Hello, everybody. 3 people watching on Facebook. Hello, people watching.
I'm one of those people.
Hello, people watching on Instagram. We're in vertical video on Instagram. If you follow us on Facebook, you can go over to Facebook and see us in beautiful landscape. 16 by 9. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We're just waiting for people to join. Thank you for some lovely comments already. We're waiting for people to join before we kick off because not everybody's going to be here right at the very minute. But our our logic today was that we have not done a Q&A, we don't think, since the film has released. So we wanted to get back in touch with you guys, and you should probably flag that off.
That's a little bit annoying, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that annoying?
And talk filmmaking, talk what's happened since the release, and also maybe talk more about, we've talked a lot in the past about cameras and production and post and all these sorts of things. Maybe we could talk about distribution, if any of you have any questions about distribution or marketing or trailer cutting or anything like that. Hello, Madison.
Well, it's there to stay.
And but as is always the way, we're happy to talk to you about whatever you want to talk about. Before we do, though, we could do a little bit of Sanders, not pick.
Sorry, I'm on a mission here. I'm trying to flag this flare.
Don't worry about it.
There we go.
Talk a little bit about some of our things that we've got going on. I don't know whether any of you, obviously, many of you are on Instagram watching us live.
Got it. Got it. Look at that.
JJ Abrams lens flare.
Sorted. Sorry.
JJ Abrams entered the chat.
Yo,
we have. Don't know whether people are aware, or if you're on Instagram, you obviously are aware, but I don't know how much of it you look through. On our Instagram, on our Cosmos Instagram, we have an entire stream of making of content that dates back all the way to the beginning of our shoot back in our production back in 2013, and there's all the goodies on there, all the goodness and learning, and being able to decipher how we did it, and so you can apply it to your own films. Definitely
worth checking out, because we reckon quite a few people may have joined us well after any of that was happening. A lot of people would have joined us far beyond the time when we were actually shooting Cosmos and sitting in post-production on it. So maybe you'd be interested in checking out some of that content. Definitely worth looking at. Elliot tried very hard on all of that stuff.
I did.
Also, likewise, the same goes for our Facebook page. So if you're following us on Facebook, head over to our Facebook page, go to videos, and there are just a ton of behind the scenes. Here we go. Videos, the video blogs and vlogs, and every day that I came back from we came back from the shoot on Cosmos, I recorded like a video blog, and some of you will remember that, me getting more and more tired over time. But they're all on there. Live streams from the set when we were filming, that's all on there. So loads of content.
Absolutely. Well, on YouTube already, Christian asked, will those be going on the site in the future? On your site in the future or on the DVD? They're not on the DVD, and I don't think they will ever be on the DVD because the DVD has already been burnt and put out there. So the only place that you can see any of that content is either on the Facebook or on the Instagram, the Cosmos Instagram. And the most detailed is on the Cosmos Instagram. We have, as I said, we have 920 posts on the Instagram, and every single one of those starts the film from start to finish. And it starts all the way back at the very beginning with script writing and storyboarding and casting and all the pre-production. And there's videos and there's photos. And if you're interested in just seeing how we did it, and basically the reason we documented it is so that people could see how we did it, and then just, learn from it, copy it, cut and paste what works for you.
Do whatever works. I think we should do some shout outs here. We've got Christian. Hello, Christian. We've got Matt, Zach, George, Madison, of course. Hello, Madison. Richard, Mark, Brian, Carlo. All sorts of stuff going on Instagram here. Hello, Katie. Tony, Jermaine. You're a legend, Jermaine.
Jermaine is a legend.
Mauricio, Chris. Thank you all for joining us. Frank, I'm just trying to get everyone in here.
Zach, everybody's
But
here.
yeah, thank you guys for joining us. So it's up to you what you want to talk about here, really. We can talk about the release of Cosmos. We can talk about distribution. We can talk about upcoming stuff for the film. We've got some merchandise coming out, which might be quite exciting. We can talk about filmmaking. We can talk about whatever. So you just send us your questions and we will answer, because it's really up to you what you want to discuss.
Matt said that he did a podcast video with Josh, which he did.
He did. It's fantastic.
And absolutely on YouTube, if you're on YouTube, you can see Chef Matt reviews, and he did a great interview with Josh, actually, who plays Harry Knight in the film, and it was really good to listen to. Thank you for doing that.
So Angelia, is that how you say it? Hopefully, says, I want a hat.
Well,
it's funny you should mention that, Angelia. Today we went to Quality Control, the production of some astronaut caps. We've got one here. Still got its label on, look. Brand new astronaut caps. We're having 50 printed up. There you go. We're going to have 50 printed up and embroidered. Oh yeah, they're not prints, they're embroidered. And they will be available online very soon. So if you guys are interested in having an astronaut cap, we even thought we could have a little special section of the website for people who have joined the astronauts.
Send us a photo.
Send us a picture and we'll put you on an official list of the astronauts. That's the plan.
There you go. And we also were looking into doing like little woolly hats, weren't we? For
maybe
people who
hats.
actually are astronomers and want to go out late at night in the cold and have the astronaut logo on your hats. So yeah, we're doing a limited edition run of 50. So they will be the first batch, and they will be. We're
going to do some special things as well, aren't we? Some little slips with them, official kind of Cosmos cards, just to say thank you. And yeah, if they're popular, we might do more. They might just be a limited run, and we'll see. But yeah, like keep your eye out because that's going to be a thing.
So we're getting some questions coming in already here on Instagram. We have a series of questions which are very similarly related, so we could address those. Are you making money off Cosmos? How are you making money?
All about the money.
Is your movie making money, yo? And distribution sounds great. Making a movie now. You have seen the trailer. Oh yes, push Netflix, etc. So yeah, I mean, we could start at the end of the process, which is distribution and the whole sort of gamut of securing distribution and negotiating deals and making the money, yo. Because that's what's important in filmmaking, I guess.
Well, for a start, why don't we? One of the questions, which was very direct, was how are you making money?
Okay.
So the accurate answer to that question is we're making money because we earn a living off royalties. So we made a load of documentaries between like 2012 and 2016, and they get sold to television, and we get royalties from those sales. So that allowed us the time to make Cosmos. We haven't made any more documentaries in the last kind of 4 years. We've just been focusing purely on Cosmos. But that's the answer to the question. So it might be one of those things that people look at our content and they're like, but what, how are they making Cosmos and earning a living? And that's how. So.
And obviously Cosmos is now adding to that.
Yes, well, it will be.
Yes, in time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the second part of that question really was, how does Cosmos make money?
Cosmos will make money much in the same way as our documentaries. So we have a distributor and they will be, they already have released the film onto video on demand platforms like Amazon Prime, iTunes, and obviously as people purchase those, there's a royalty that comes in. But similar to the documentaries, they will be licensed to TV, cable, SVOD services like Netflix or Hulu and stuff like that. And we will just get a cut of the royalties. So we've yet to kind of have our first quarter, as it were, our first full quarter with Cosmos. But that'll be coming soon. And obviously, hopefully it will make some money because people have watched it. So that'll be lovely. But yeah, that's pretty much it, really.
It's quite a, there's a partnership obviously that exists between a distributor and a film producer. Distributors, their whole business model revolves around exploiting and monetizing movie content or entertainment content. So you know, their whole reason for picking up a film is to make money from it. They don't pick up films they don't feel they couldn't make money from, because obviously they need to make profits, etc. So if you can partner with the producer, you know, their whole business model and their whole incentive is to roll it out onto different platforms and to monetize it, get it to an audience, take revenues, and then split those revenues with the filmmaker.
That's basically it. So yeah, that's how an indie movie makes money.
Oh man, we've got some questions. It's Felicity Murphy.
Hello.
Big shout out. I said we'd do a shout out when I was speaking to you.
Shout out. Time.
Cosmos Forever hashtag.
Hashtag Cosmos Forever. Thanks for joining
we've got
us.
lots of questions here. How are we going to keep up?
Okay, Christian asks a cracker of a question right up front. He says, sorry for a deep question up front, but what was your biggest regret making this film?
Oh my word. I don't actually know. Biggest regret?
Not making it sooner.
Yeah, crack on.
Not making it sooner because we tried to set up a bigger film with a budget and we poured loads of time and effort into that. And we knew in the back of our heads, we should be making a no budget movie, but we didn't want to. We wanted to jump straight into budgets and all that kind of thing. So yeah, we spent a lot of time trying to raise money on Encounter, which is a project before Cosmos. And actually we should have just left school and made this movie. We
should have done. We'd be about 4 years ahead of where we are now.
We would. I'm not sure we could have made it though at the time.
No, we couldn't.
For several reasons. But so hey, life.
But don't
finds a way.
You know, don't wait to make that leap if you're thinking about it. Obviously, it has to work for you and work with the other things you're juggling in your life. But I don't think you'll regret it. We certainly don't.
Sweet. Jermaine asks on Instagram, what does the future look like for you both? Next feature, short or web series? Also, what type of opportunities have presented itself off the back of Cosmos?
Good question.
So our plan in the immediate future, which is kind of changing given the kind of climate at the moment with the virus. But our plan was to go out to the States late spring to begin partnering with producers over there and begin pitching ideas that we've got for movies, for features. So we have some contacts over there, some people we know, some that have come through Cosmos because of the film. They've seen it and got in touch with us. Yeah, that's the immediate goal, is to kind of aim high and go to Hollywood and see if we can get some support to make a nicely budgeted movie. We've got lots of cool ideas, but they're all feature films. That's what we want to do. We just want to do features. That's we kind of think that you need to plant your flag in the ground in the industry and go, I'm a director of feature films, because you can get pigeonholed, I think. So it's good to just say, I'm this or I'm that, and just stick with
whatever you want to be, stick with it.
So yeah, no short films, no web series or anything like that. But yeah, we've got some cool ideas. We may even share them with the community, and
That'd
kind of like
cool.
Speculative, what do you think kind of thing.
Yeah, see what you think, see if we can add, what we can add, what we can change.
Get some opinions. That'd be sweet.
More questions.
Thanks for the question.
More questions. Any plans for worldwide theatrical? No plans for worldwide theatrical.
Stefan.
Unfortunately, I think the film itself is quite. It's obviously quite small. It doesn't have much sort of worldwide mass market appeal. With the greatest respect to the actors, they're unknowns. We're unknowns. There's sort of a glass ceiling to what the film can achieve in a theatrical sense. And I think our US theatrical run was probably that. However, we are trying to arrange circumstances where the film can be seen on a big screen in different places, because the film, like most films, does feel very different. It's a different viewing experience when it's up there and big rather than down on a screen or on a TV. It feels more cinematic, actually. It feels like a bigger movie experience.
It does,
having experienced it.
Does indeed. Karina says, what type of documentaries did you produce? Anything we could see on streaming platforms?
Yes.
Definitely. If you go to our IMDb, search for Xander Weaver or Elliot Weaver, you will see the things we've directed, and yeah, you can find them there on Amazon Prime. So yeah, they are available. Probably recommend some of the later stuff, because obviously I think we got better at doing it, but we're proud of them all. So if you like space, if you like NASA, that's what we made the documentaries about. It was all about the Apollo program, going to the moon, all very inspiring stuff.
We also have some for free on Vimeo, which are about the First World War.
Yes, we do.
Free to view.
Those are great. There's a trilogy of films. One of them's about Tolkien, the writer of Lord of the Rings. But they're all about the First World War and their experiences in the First World War. So, yeah, either check out our Vimeo for some free docos, or if you're on Amazon Prime, you can stream them for free. That's pretty sweet.
Would love to know in more detail how you deal with the naysayers.
Yeah, man.
Oh, the naysayers.
This is an interesting topic because, like, when we released Cosmos, we had our fair share of trolls who kind of really.
Yeah, they didn't like it.
They really, well, they didn't just dislike the film. They disliked us. It was like very, very personal. So
can't win them all.
We kind of struggled with that initially. It was a bit of a punch to the gut. But I think you quickly realize that you just have got to let them have their moment. Because if you kind of reply, our initial thing was like, how about we reach out to these people? You know, they think we're horrible. They think we're idiots or we're whatever. Let's just and say, hey, it's all good. Because I'll give you some context. What happened was people were watching Cosmos and leaving positive reviews on IMDb. And then other people were coming in having watched Cosmos. And they were like, well, it's nowhere near as good as these people are saying. These must be fake reviews. Elliot and Xander must be paying people to go onto IMDb and leave fake reviews. And yeah, that was hard to hear. And then so they slammed the film and they gave it terrible, terrible ratings. And other people started to believe them. And that was all very weird. I think now it's past like 1,300 reviews on, or not reviews, but ratings on IMDb. I think those people have finally gone, actually, they probably haven't paid 1,300 people to leave a rating. But I think the tip would be let them have their moment. Don't really interact with them because actually you can't change their mind. They're never going to go, actually, you know what? Your film was good. I thought it was terrible, but actually you've changed my mind. And also the more you interact with them, the more it kind of lifts them to the surface of like YouTube or whatever. You comment and interact on their comment, they become active things. So let them be. Let them
go along their way, and you know, everyone's entitled to opinion. There are films that I don't like that people love. There are films that I love that people don't like. So have I just said the same thing twice?
Probably.
But you know, Cosmos isn't for everybody. It wasn't made for everybody. So it's very cool that some people absolutely hate it because it wasn't made for them. I guess that's the best way to go about it.
Yeah,
but for the people it was made for, if they like it, then that's all.
Then we're in business. And we've said it a couple of times on these live streams in the past. It's like, I'd rather make a movie that some people hate, but some people love, than a movie that everyone thinks is mediocre. And
yes.
You know, a bit there. So I'm happy to have those two spikes at the end of the thing. And it's predominantly very positive. So we're very happy about that. And that's all thanks to you guys. So thanks for checking out the movie and supporting us in the journey, on the journey. Questions? Go on, pick a question.
Questions. We have a message from Paul here who says he loved the film and it was awesome. So thank you very much, Paul. He's currently AD to Carlo Bath and a cast member of his upcoming film, The Wrong. Amazing, exciting. Can't wait to see it. Keep up the good work and keep us posted on how it's going and you know, when it will be available to view.
There's something about M and Bayliss there. Though. They said, I'd love to see you guys make another short horror type of thing.
Oh, that'd be cool.
If anyone's seen, or hasn't seen, probably not, but on our Vimeo, you can go and check out a short film called The Mysterious Disappearance of M. Bayliss. It's a kind of Twilight Zone-esque horror. It's not really horror, I guess. It's more of just like a thriller. And it was shot on 16mm. And
we've got some more 16mm in the fridge, so maybe we should make another little ghost film.
What happens? Well, you've got to see the end of the first film first. What happens next in this story?
We have questions here. We've got that one.
No, that's cool. From Repeat Movie. Hey, guys.
Hello.
How long were your shoot days and what time did you start?
We did 55 shoot days over 12 months. We filmed in 3 blocks.
How long were they?
I'm going to get to that.
All right.
I'm just giving a little bit of detail. We filmed in 3 blocks. So we filmed a block in September of 2015, a block in January of 2016, and mainly a block in August. And the days were about,
I reckon,
10 hours.
8 till 5, 6.
Yeah, we would turn up in the day shoots when we were shooting in the garage, i.e. studio shoots. We would turn up probably about 7.
Yeah.
Maybe about 7:30.
Yeah.
we'd be turning over by about 9:30 because we'd have to rig the car, rig the gear, rig the everything again.
Yeah, we didn't. We had to de-rig and rig every day because our picture vehicle was also our actual car.
Yes, indeed.
So to get home, we needed to pack everything up.
Yeah.
Put it back in the car and drive home. So yeah.
So and then we would film till probably about 5 or 6 in the afternoon, and then de-rig and go home. And we did that for 30 days, pretty much straight. Well, with the exception of weekends, actually. So we did 4.5 5-day weeks. In fact, no, we did more than that. We did 6 5-day weeks.
I can never remember.
Yeah.
I feel like we're too far away from the screen.
But our night shoots were the sort of the opposite. So we would turn up at about about 6 or 7, rig, get ready for the light to fall, and then wrap by about 5 a.m. So they were quite long. I mean, average shoot length, to be honest. But when there's only a crew of 3 and there's only a cast of 3 and you're out in the middle of nowhere or whatever, those night shoots were long, and we worked hard and we were non-stop. We'd have an hour off for lunch, and that was it. We basically didn't break.
It was a challenge.
Matt says, was there any consideration of the possibility of shooting Cosmos on the film? We would love to have shot Cosmos on film, but it just would not have been financially possible to shoot it, given the nature of the no budget element of the film. So
also a lot of it, I mean, it's all set at night, so
yeah, you need lots of light.
That's okay for the interiors, but if we're outside,
cameras are much bigger, so we needed a small camera, we needed a fast camera, so we shot at 800, but we also had the speed booster, so we were effectively shooting at 1600 ASA or ISO, and in film terms, I think you're looking at 400 ASA for 16mm film negative that you'd want to shoot at, or 800.
And we really
money
for the exteriors, we really only had well, at best we had 3 LED panel lights and a 2 kilowatt blonde. We sometimes use the car headlights and stuff like that, but yeah, to shoot and expose for 400 ASA film or something like that, we just didn't have the light.
It might not even have been that. And like a 16mm, 400 foot of 16mm is 10 minutes, and we shot 96 40-minute SD cards. So it's I don't know what that equates to off the top of my head, but a lot.
Go on now.
No. A lot.
A lot.
And each one of those probably costs about, to purchase and develop and scan a roll of film is probably around £100, maybe more. So, no, unfortunately, was the answer. I mean,
yeah. Also, we'd have to hire a camera and all sorts. So, but that maybe next film.
Hey, that would be great. I'd love to shoot.
I want to shoot some 35mm desperately. So, if anyone has a load of 35mm lying around and a 35mm camera, please get in touch because we can make a movie together.
I read Robert Rodriguez's book. Man, that was inspiring. What was the major contributor for you for a no budget journey? Well, yeah, we read what is going on? We read Rodriguez's book too. We were incredibly inspired by that. The major contributing factor of us doing this no budget, well, there were 2. One of them was that we were getting frustrated with not being able to make a film because we needed financial support. So we were going to people, going to financiers, going to money people. We needed their money, and until they gave us that go ahead, we couldn't do what we wanted to do. We couldn't pursue our passion. So if we took that power away from them and said, okay, we're going to make the movie requiring no money, suddenly we don't have to wait or ask permission from anybody. Suddenly we can just make a movie whenever we decide to. The other contributing factor was that we wanted to make a calling card film that would demonstrate what we were capable of as filmmakers. And again, if you buy gear, if you buy cast, if you buy crew, if you buy facilities, then it's not necessarily cast, of course, but if you buy, if you have there we go. Yeah, if you for example, if you engage a talented director of photography and then you present your film, we felt that was something that someone could take away from us. They could go, well, you're trying to demonstrate your talent as directors, but this film only really looks good because you hired a DOP. Or it's only really well cut together because you hired an editor. That's not a reflection of your talent or your understanding of editing or lighting or shooting. So if we did everything ourselves, it would at least show what we knew, for better or worse, what we knew about filmmaking, and we could have our fingerprints all over it, and really people couldn't take anything from us. They couldn't say, oh yeah, but we're still not going to support you financially because you haven't worked with this.
I think the long and short of it is that we were stung pretty badly with Encounter, in that, you know, we set up this film and they just said, you've never made a feature film before. And so we were like, you know what, screw this, I'm not going to wait for permission anymore, we're just going to do it.
Yes.
So that's in a nutshell. It's like impatience, frustration, a sense of, we can do this. You know, I know you all feel that, you've all been there. So yeah, that's what we did. We've got some really cool things here. Parallel Video says, you have very likable charisma, and that was the core of your marketing. How did that work as a strategy in your promotion? Wow. Well, that's very kind of you. I don't know whether I don't know whether we're charismatic, but we've always just wanted to kind of share our filmmaking experience. We're on a journey, and we are far from where we're aiming to be. But we've always had like a YouTube channel, The Real Deal Film School. It's on YouTube, and so we've always tried to just like connect with a community of filmmakers, and this was no different. So yeah, we're fortunate in that like what we're passionate about in terms of building that community also helps with marketing the film. You know, like filmmakers jump in and they go, wow, you've made this movie with nothing. That's really cool. And it's great because then we get to talk about it with them and they get excited and inspired. And it's just like this beautiful circle of filmmaking love.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think it's worked quite well, but it's not really a conscious decision, I don't think, to be like, you know what we'll do. Yeah. Onwards. Tanner
says, are you guys working on anything at the moment? We are in development on new ideas. That's we currently have 3 or 4 feature film projects that we would like to make, and we are developing pitch documents to take to producers and partner with them and get funding and make a film. So that's what we're working on at the moment, as well as obviously continuing to support Cosmos and spread the word about it and engage with audiences, and obviously speak to you guys and share what we learned on our filmmaking journey. So hopefully you guys can learn something from it and apply it to your filmmaking.
Frank here says, no questions, just thank you for uploading the screenplay.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, if you didn't know, on the Cosmos, if you go to cosmosmovieofficial.com, there's all sorts of stuff on there. But we've just put this screenplay up, the script for Cosmos, so you can read that. It's free. You can just have a look. And it's actually a scan of our actual shooting script. So there's scribbles on it, there's post-it notes, there's doodles. Yeah.
Here is the script.
That is
the Cosmos script. As you can see, it's a bit battered. It's got this plastic protective cover, which is completely bashed. And then on the front cover, we have all our autographs and stuff, our little signatures.
The actual PDF.
Different. But this, it's got all the, I mean, if I find something, there are some fun things like here. I'll try and show you. There are notes like on the script where we've decided to, you know, add things. You know, and you can see how the film has changed from what was written to what ended up.
There's also, which is really cool, if you do check out the script, there are these little yellow post-it notes in the corner of pages, and they've got like little musical cues on. So when we were writing the film, we were listening to film soundtracks. Here you go, just some yellow bits here. And this one says, what does this here say? Lost World 8 or something. Lost World. That's a cue from like Jurassic Park, Lost World. And if you're reading it, you can search for those things on Spotify or whatever, and you can listen to the music as you go and kind of hear what we were hearing when we were writing it
as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can see like, sorry, what inspired the certain sequences, what music we were writing to at the time. So Stefan asks, is your next feature going to be space related? One of them is.
Probably 2 actually are.
Depending on which ones we do.
Yeah, hopefully.
Paul here says, guys, the angle shot in the car looks quite tight but awesome. Thank you. On screen, did you run into any difficulties while filming in such confined space, and how did you solve them in any way, if any? The angles were quite tight. We wanted actually that aesthetic. We wanted to get the camera inside the car rather than film through the windows on a longer lens and feel like we were observing the characters. We wanted you guys to feel like you were the 4th astronaut, and so we wanted the camera to be inside up close. We like filming close on a wide angle lenses. We feel like if you put the camera inside, almost like someone's personal space, it's very intimate, and you can see little things in people's eyes and little performance detail that you wouldn't see from afar. So we actually wanted that tight aesthetic to be in the car. But there were challenges with filming in that tight space, challenges rigging the camera, challenges directing and getting in and operating and with the mic and lighting. It was a tight space, and sometimes there was the 3 actors and Xander and I in the car at the same time, like pushing the slider. It was a tight space to work in, and that's one of the reasons, you know, we talk about the Blackmagic camera so much, because it was such a small camera and such a small rig. We question whether Cosmos could have been made the way we wanted to make it, the way we did make it, if we'd had a bigger camera. That small camera enabled us to shoot it the way we wanted to shoot it. So if it was a big movie, they'd have like flyaway doors, and the car would be chopped into sections, and they could pull the windscreen off and have all these cheats. But we were filming in a real car, and we obviously had to get in there, or we weren't in there. But we were moving the chairs forwards and backwards. We were clamping things to the steering wheel, and we had a 1 meter slider, and we used that quite a lot to kind of get, not even to get camera movement, but just to have like a mobile platform to kind of rig the camera on. So we would have the slider in the car, and we'd clamp it using some magic arms, and then we could put our base plate onto that slider, a little tripod head with a base plate, and then we get the camera right in there. That was a really cool tip, actually. So if you're filming in a tight space, don't just see your slider as like a way to move the camera, but it's a good way to get your camera deep into something that you couldn't put a tripod in there, or it's hard to rig, like a fluid head or something, you know, in another way. So for you guys that aren't on the Cosmos Instagram, if you do go on there, which is Cosmos_movie, you will see loads of photos and loads of videos behind the scenes of that process. If you want to find a good question, or another question,
Jasper says Cosmos 10 out of 10.
IGN rather.
Thanks, man.
Thank you so much.
Look at all these people who've joined. I'm going to wave at these people.
We have a question here from Matt. He's writing his script. In the process of approximately how much writer's block was there in that time? I don't know. I can't really remember. It was a while ago now.
Stefan asked about how long it took to write.
Oh, well, it took 4 months to write the script from start to finish. It was a month of development, where Xander and I bashed out the story, and then we typed the film up in 3 months, the first draft at least. And we aimed for 1 page a day. We wanted a 90-page script, so 30 days times 3. And we did that. And in fact, we ended up with a 100-page first draft, which grew into a 102-page final draft. And
it ballooned
by 2 whole pages. And I think because we spent such an intense period of time working out the story before we even started typing, the typing phase was literally just typing it up. We knew exactly what we wanted. We'd had all our scenes blocked. We had all our character mesh and arcs all worked out. And then we just went to the keyboard, and it all poured out onto the keyboard. I think I've been there with writer's block, where you're sitting at the keyboard and you're lost. And when that happens to me, it's because I haven't planned enough. It might happen differently for other people, but when I hit a brick wall, it's because I don't know what to write next. And we didn't have that problem with Cosmos because we planned it from start to finish before we even started typing. So it wasn't the creative journey during the typing that had already happened. The typing was literally just, let's write this thing up and put it on paper.
Yeah, there's almost a frustration, I think, when you're blocking a film out. You actually, I feel this anyway, like you want to write it down. You want to get to that point where it's like, can we just write this out?
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess we try and get to that position rather than getting to the point where it's like, what happens next?
Yeah.
You know what happens, and it's fun to kind of fill it out, be creative with your description and all that kind of stuff. George says, I got to say, the film score was amazing. Where did you guys find the composer? The score was composed by Chris Davey, who's a super talented, super awesome guy from the southwest of England, Cornwall area. And if you're familiar, we found him online. The soundtrack, by the way, is available on Spotify and iTunes, and it's on YouTube. So it's only on Spotify and iTunes for convenience. It's on YouTube. It's free. So go check it out on YouTube if that's easy. Yeah, we found him online, didn't we? We just went on SoundCloud. I think it was SoundCloud, and we're listening to composers in the UK, and we reached out to him, and we were very, very lucky to find him because he's super talented, and he's gone on now to do incredible stuff. He's done Avengers trailers. He's done like BBC, Blue Planet. He's done Call of Duty trailers and all sorts. So
he's very talented and very nice.
We knew him when.
We did.
So yeah, check out the soundtrack. It's kind of cool. We made the album of the soundtrack on like Spotify and YouTube and all that. We made it so it was like a musical journey. Like some soundtracks just pick like the best tracks, but this has kind of got loads of cues from the film, so you can sit there and you can kind of remember what happens in the film and go like, oh. And in fact,
on the Cosmos website, there is a little booklet that we wrote for the iTunes version. If you buy the whole album on iTunes, which I'm not suggesting you do, but if you do, you get a little digital download booklet with it, like a little thing that would have come in the CD cover. Remember that?
Yes.
And that is available to read on our website as well. We've given that away because
why not? We're not really in it for the dollar. We like to just interact with you guys. It's cool. I mean, it's just cool. What else is going on here?
What's this? I have a speed booster on the way, but I haven't been impressed with the look without it.
Have been impressed with the look without it. Is it necessary? No, it's not. The speed booster, all it does is it's going to give you like an extra stop of exposure. And
it'll widen your lens a little bit.
Yeah, and it'll fix the crop factor.
But it won't change the way the picture looks.
No, it won't look different. But it's great. It's like
it's a valuable, really useful tool, but it won't change much in terms of the look if that's what you're worried about. Was Encounter similar to this storyline? Are you now pushing to make Encounter?
Adam Palmer.
It was a script that took a couple of years to write, if I remember. Yeah, Encounter took 11 months to write. So the things that we learned on Encounter allowed us to speed up the process on Cosmos. It was a similar-ish storyline. It was a science fiction. It is something that we will push now, although we have also got other stories that we'd like to see. But yeah, it was about a family who lived in an isolated house on a hill, and they became the subject of extraterrestrial interest over a weekend. And the mystery about the movie is it's not a global encounter. It's not like an invasion. People in the local community aren't experiencing it. The mystery of the movie is what specifically about this family or this area or this house or whatever.
They're on their own.
Is it this
aliens? You'd be like, what's going on? Why us? What's the deal? And there's a bit of a mystery. It's kind of cool. Maybe we'll make it. Nice. You guys have literally sold yourselves as much as your movie. Success and well done. Oh,
thank you.
Mr. Mookins, thank you so much, man. That means a lot. Thank you.
I'll keep looking. If you see anything.
I'm going to have a look up here. It says here, Leonardo says, hey, how you doing? I'm doing all right, Leonardo. Thank you. How are you? Andre says, how you doing? George says he already bought it. Thank you for buying the soundtrack, George.
We've got a long stream of questions here from Christian. I think he's telling us about a film idea that he's
trying to get people on board for a film I want to make, but people are either too busy or not interested. So instead, I'm planning on shooting a feature mockumentary.
And then it's like, what advice would you give me on embarking on this journey? Also, did you have a hard time writing comedy?
Ooh. Yeah, okay, cool. Advice.
Be passionate.
Love what you're doing. Sounds corny, but love whatever story you're telling. Like, make sure you're kind of in love with it, because it's going to be hard. Like, we're not all kind of sitting in Hollywood making movies with millions of dollars and we can kind of just go, you know what, I'm getting paid. Who cares? We're doing it for the passion of it. And so if you're not completely in love with the story you're telling, there will come a time where you question your sanity and you will say, why on earth am I doing this to myself? I'm tired. It's late. I have no social life. What am I doing? So yeah, make sure you love it, because in those moments you go like, you know what? I want to tell a story about these astronauts because I like the characters and I think people will connect with them.
Also, I think in terms of getting other people on board, passion is what people look for. I've worked on things for other people for free because they're passionate and they love what they do. And I want to be part of that energy.
Yeah,
I want to share that excitement. And the guys in the film have each individually and as a group said to us, one of the things that they really were attracted to about the film, other than hopefully them liking the story and feeling like it was something they wanted to have a crack at, was that they liked our passion for it. So I think if you can find other passionate people who you bounce off, that's the trick, really. You're looking for like-minded individuals who are in love with filmmaking like you. And if they are in love with filmmaking and they're in a similar place to you, then you can create something lovely together.
I like it. Nicely said.
Stefan says, did you storyboard every single shot? Yes, we did, Stefan. We did over 1,000. In fact, I can tell you, because I remember, we did 1,055 storyboards, which were hand drawn. I'm getting my folder out.
You've done it now, Stefan.
And here they all are.
Look what you've done.
Here they all are. These are all our storyboards.
Oh, that's cool. That's like a little
design, yeah.
astronaut thing.
If I just find here are all some of the exterior storyboards. These are the ones we shot with. As you can see, they've been crossed out. So we did original sketches and then we photocopied them so that we could just draw all over them during the shoot and cross them off once we were done. But they weren't, they're not masterpieces. They're just some of them are more elaborate than others. But if I just pick a page here for you, for example.
Look, that's Mike asleep. Tipped up from name badge. We didn't tilt up in the end.
Yeah, no, we didn't. That's the beginning of the movie. Here's quite cool. So if you guys have seen the film, you may not know it shot for shot, but this is the sequence. If I go each individually, this is the sequence where they first pull up at the field and they unload the telescope. So if I show you all that individually, and if I take it back a bit, here you can see a shot of, this is a shot where the car is in the background and Roy walks up to camera and he looks up at the sky, and then we cut to a shot from behind him looking up at the sky, and he looks at, scans the sky. There was a shot here, a wide shot of him walking back to the car, which we actually cut. We did actually cut a few of these shots. But there's a shot of him at the boot like this, where or the trunk, if you're American, where he gets his coat out, puts it on, and then he walks. There's a wide shot where he walks away from the car. He plants his chair. He walks past Mike. Fills up his copy. So yeah, the film was storyboarded like this, and there were over 1,000 cells drawn like this. As you can see, they're not works of art. They're just stick figures. Because we didn't need to communicate to a crew. We didn't have to put this on a pinboard and talk to 50 people and go, as you can see today, this is what we're doing. This was mainly for Xander and I, because we knew that making the film this way with no crew, or not a massive crew to support us, that we would have so much on our plates and so much in our minds trying to capture everything and get all the gear rigged, that probably the first thing that would be compromised on would be coverage and shots. So we spent the month of January 2016 doing these storyboards all month, because we knew that when we got to the shoot, all we had to do this was our Bible. All we had to do was shot by shot work through this, and we knew it would cut. We knew it would all work. And it also forced us to a certain standard. When we were losing time towards the end of the day, or an actor had to go early, if we didn't have a storyboard that we were sticking to, we might be like, oh, forget that shot. Let's just bodge something. But because we had a storyboard that we stuck to rigidly, we held ourselves accountable to a standard. And I think the next film we make, we will be doing exactly the same thing, because it was priceless. Long answer, sorry, but yes.
There's a cool with that astronaut thing as well. That was cool. Also, Christian said, did you have a hard time writing comedy? I don't know, because I think the humorous moments in Cosmos don't necessarily feel like comedy proper, as it were. They feel just like they're situational comedy, really. They're like dorky, funny moments, and awkwardness is something that we like. So
we quite like,
and that was obviously made by the actors as well. They did a fantastic job. Check these things out. We've got some early sketch designs for the Astronaut logo here. Hold them up so you can see them there. Look, that's kind of cool. And then we decided on this one here.
Something like that.
We were like, I like that, and so I drew it up in Photoshop, and here it is, the astronaut cap. So that's kind of cool. Thought that was sweet. What else have we got? How did you guys go about distribution? I'll keep this one short and sweet. We made a list using IMDb Pro, kind of filtered, ranked based off their starometer or whatever in the industry on IMDb, and we just went one by one, and we got in touch with them. Some of them you can't get through to because they're super big. Others you can, and they want to hear from you. So the distributor we got in the end was one that we actually wanted even before we made that list. So we were quite glad to get them. But yeah, don't be afraid to pick up the phone or send them an email, and don't be afraid to pester, because again, the distributor that we got, Gravitas Ventures, we emailed them a couple of months before we ended up getting them, and we chased them up later down the line, and that made stuff happen. So don't be afraid to badger people.
They're looking for you. Their whole business model revolves around filmmakers, and they don't make films, they sell films. And without films to sell, they go out of business. So they're more approachable than we might think they are.
Yeah.
There's a lovely comment here from Charlotte.
Hi, Charlotte. Thank you. Hi, I was at the Mockingbird Cinema last week. My sister Gemma was interviewing you. Oh, cool. Gemma did an amazing job. Just wanted to say that your film looks amazing and you're both inspirational. Thank you so much, Charlotte.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for being there. And thank you, Gemma, for doing a great Q&A. It was great.
That's a good question. But
there's a good one up here as well. I thought Parallel Videos was good as well. They said, what comes first, plot or structure? And I would say plot. I would say ideas about how your movie's going to end. Like, what's the climax? What do we want? What's the punch? You know.
Yeah.
There's a thing like
concept.
Hitchcock said something, and he said something like, you know, a movie needs 3 memorable scenes, like, that you can weave together. So I think you just sit down with your music. You've got an idea. Come up with 3 cool scenes that you're like, you know what? There's a story behind this. I don't know what it is yet. I don't know how they're going to come together in a structure, but I want this as an opening, this somewhere in the middle, and this somewhere at the end. I think we're gonna. That's what I say. We're not screenwriters.
Well, there's a question. It almost links to George's question here, where he talks about the end of the movie. For those of you who've seen it, with the dishes, and we came up with that ending before we. Very early on, we were like, wouldn't it be cool if we could end in this way? And so you're working out the story in different parts. But we also talked earlier about the 16mm short film that we did, the little Twilight Zone short film. Before, when we had that film stock and we knew we wanted to film something, we had several ideas. One of them ended up being the guy with the keys, the Twilight Zone film. Another idea we had was a radio astronomer sitting at his desk, twiddling his dial and listening and discovering a signal from outer space. And we eventually shelved that idea. We went with the ghost film. But then when we came to write a feature film, we dusted off that idea of an astronomer and went, hey, I wonder, how about it's not one astronomer? How about it's 3 astronomers? And how about he's not in his desk, in his office? How about he's in a car and they're on a hill? And when, you know, they can be in the woods and, they can have a telescope, and it all just snowballs out of a concept. And then, their battery could die. And then because they're not at a base, they have to drive somewhere really quickly and get there in the end before, So one thing leads to another.
But thank you. You said it gave you goosebumps. That's cool.
That's amazing.
Thank you so much. Any advice for someone that wants to start making movies? I have a few ideas. I never wrote a script, and I would record with my phone. First of all, your phone is brilliant. It's like fantastic. It's probably almost as good as the camera that we shot with. Particularly the new iPhones and new smartphones. Their cameras are amazing. So don't ever assume that you can't do something great with a phone. You can. Think of what Hitchcock would do with your phone. I mean, I think he'd explode. And Spielberg as well. When he was younger, he'd be like, you know what, this is amazing. So be liberated by that technology and use it, and set yourself the challenge of being like, I'm going to show you how good I can make a movie with limited kit. Advice would be just get on with it. I know that's kind of a bit rubbish and it's not that helpful, but keep that idea in your head, keep that kind of vision, for want of a better word, that spirit and that passion for whatever the story you're trying to tell, and don't forget about it. And that'll drive you through your cast, finding your crew, or not. Just find a friend, get your phone, go out and shoot. When
we were making films as kids, we made our first film when we were very young, and we would make films with our action figures. We made little films in the garden, and then we would make films with our school friends. And I don't know how, where you are in your life, whether you're at uni or college or school or at work now, but start with your friends. And that's what we did with Cosmos. We're still making movies with our friends.
Yeah.
It's just a longer film, and we're trying to make it a little bit more polished, but nothing has changed.
Sophie Rogers, thank you for following us for years. Our passion for film is infectious, apparently. Thank you. Well, you know, you guys rock, so you're keeping us rolling. It's like we're so lucky to be to have all you people. Thank you. Speaking of contacting distribution and new stories, how do you guys feel about serialized stories versus the feature model? Are features becoming experiences? Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Industry's in an interesting place at the moment, and the serialization of stories, whether on the big screen or the small screen, is becoming a well, it already is a massive thing. So, is there a place for one-hit solo original stories on the big screen? I hope so. I believe so. Actually, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we went and saw some of the best films I've actually seen recently in the cinema are standalone movies.
Yeah, well,
like 1917 and
Little Women,
and you know, I love the cinematic universe. It's fun, but I also you know, I love television and long form stories. But for me, there is nothing more satisfying than that 90-minute, 2-hour sort of contained nugget of a movie.
Yeah,
like, I can turn it on, and in 2 hours' time, it's finished. I don't need to have read the books. I don't need to have watched last season. I don't need to commit. It's just like, it's great. Personally, I love it. I know everyone's got their preference, but I don't think standalone contained movies are going anywhere. It's like A Quiet Place. Everyone went nuts about that movie.
Yep.
Standalone. Now it's got a sequel, but you know, contained story.
Mr. Mookin's storyboards uploaded for viewing. They will be. We'll do that. We're going to make that happen just for you, Mr. Mookin. You see that once there's demand for something, we're just like, oh, someone actually wants to see the storyboards. Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll do that. We're also going to do on Amazon. We're going to get the script available to buy as a physical thing.
A little book.
Again, it's free. It's free on our website, so you don't need to pay for it. But if you want to own a copy and put it on your shelf and be like, that's kind of cool, then you can, and it'll have a little piece in the front about the process of making the movie and stuff. So yeah.
Little paperback.
We'll do that. Christian's about to head to work, so I'll quickly answer his question. Would you ever do a no-budget movie again as a plan B?
Yes,
also, I got just this guy.
You should Google David DeVos.
Yeah.
He's running a YouTube sort of film school at the moment. His advice is incredible. His experience is incredible. He's worked in the entertainment industry since the early 90s now. What he doesn't know isn't worth knowing. So he's putting these tutorial series together where he's sharing his experience for the benefit of filmmakers like us, and I cannot recommend. He's also just a really nice bloke as well. You couldn't ask to meet him.
And he's made a lovely film as
well. And he's also made a really great film, which we had the pleasure of seeing, called A Champion Heart, and it's just beautiful. So go and check him out. And
he's churning out consistent content. Anyway,
we'll share some of his stuff. We've already shared some of his stuff.
Would you ever do a no budget movie again as a plan B? I guess so, because you've always got that. You're like, you know what, we've done it. And this time we can probably do it quicker, and we can learn from any mistakes that we made. But that's not the plan, because I think at the very least we will be able to
try and get a little budget.
We will get at least a small budget, but we have aspirations for a big budget. We're going to do it, and we're going to show you that it's possible. That's the goal.
And you can too.
I mean, you can do it too. So that's cool.
Daniel Bruno says, funny thing is, you guys inspired me to start my first film. We're getting there. Thank you for the inspiration. Yes, keep going.
Power.
Keep going, Daniel. Don't ever give up. Make your film. Keep us posted. Share with us the process, and we can't wait to see it.
Any t-shirts? Cool idea. Great t-shirts. Idea. There's demand. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
We'll put a merchandise thing on our
Pete Movie says, will you find it difficult to hand the camera to someone else and shoot your film to purely direct? I would do if I was shooting with someone who I didn't like what they were doing. But my plan would be to always partner with someone who we have similar tastes. So
yeah, and also I don't ever want to stop shooting. And I know that's not necessarily possible with unions in the US and all that until you're maybe more established. But as soon as I can get my hands back on the camera,
we love shooting. So
like to me, it's so part of it. Like it would be wonderful to be able to sit back and just direct and be like, right, that's what I want.
I don't find that as interesting though. It's like you've said purely direct, and I understand what you mean, but I don't think directing I don't think that is pure directing. I think pure directing is having your eye to the viewfinder, because it's not, you are literally involved in the image creation then. And we got asked a question recently, at a Q&A session, and someone said, did you feel like your directing ability was hindered because you were shooting and you were doing other things at the same time? You couldn't focus purely on the performance. Was that a problem? And we actually believe that I think your directing is enhanced if you are in that little bubble between the actor and the camera. And you can hear a lot of experienced directors talk about this. Actually, they'll say, you know, young directors love their monitors and they love their video village, and they're often like down a different corridor in a different room in a tent watching monitors if you're on a big budget, and they're like directing, shouting from the monitor bank. And if you watch the old school directors and the directors that built Hollywood and built the movie industry before there was any video assist and before there was any on-camera monitoring, Alfred Hitchcock would be right there by the camera. Frank Capra would be right there by the camera. Quentin Tarantino still stands right by the camera. He doesn't stand and sit in a tent in his director's chair. Chris Nolan doesn't allow any chairs on set. He doesn't like people sitting down. He stands right by the camera. And I think actually some directors don't want to shoot. Some directors can't shoot. But as a director that can shoot, I always want to be on that camera and looking and being the first person to see it, you know?
Or just being right there.
Or being right there. But yeah, great question. And yes and no to your answer.
Yeah, the answer is yeah. I
would find it difficult.
Yeah.
I love shooting. I love shooting. It's so much fun.
Sidgewo, how you doing, man? Oh, what have I done?
You turn the camera on.
Turn around. Okay. Hello from India. Hello from the UK. You guys are awesome. Thank you. How much are the hats? Well, that's an interesting question. I mean, we don't really know yet. We're going to try and make them affordable, but they're also special things. So I don't know, maybe we'll do a poll and you guys can let us know what you think is a good price to have a hat. But that will be soon, very soon.
Yeah,
a week and a half or something, they'll be available. So that's going to be so cool. We'll put some pictures up.
Paul asks, guys, while writing the script, did you find yourself with ideas that wouldn't necessarily fit into the story you're working on, but place them in the corner for future projects? Yes, we did. We had lots of ideas. Again, we were talking about this relatively recently. One of our ideas was like, I wonder if, the aliens can sort of come down in through the radio waves, and they go into the headset of, say, Mike, and they possess him, and Mike becomes like an alien in a human body, for example. That was we were like, that would be cool. And then we went, actually, no, that would spin Cosmos in a direction that, although cool and interesting, wasn't necessarily where we wanted to take it. So in the development of ideas, you do have to, we try to keep our eye on the end goal of what we want the film to be. So you don't end up with a bit of a Frankenstein's monster where you're going, I wanted it to be a heartfelt, sincere, earnest story about friendship, but there's this really sort of out of place, quite sinister moment in the middle of it. So yeah, you do come up with ideas that you think are great ideas, but they just don't work in your film.
We must do a reset on Instagram. We have 1 minute and 48 seconds remaining.
These questions, there's loads.
Cosmos certainly one of my top favorite flicks. You two are extremely talented. That is super awesome.
So sweet.
Hello.
Simply amazing piece of film history you've created for what you two. Groundbreaking. Thank you so much. Sorry it's taken us so long to get through all these. There's so many.
Oh no. Okay, come on. Let's see.
What have I done?
Nothing. Okay, here we go. Did you study film in university? No, we didn't. We went straight from school and we were just like, boom. Do you all personally get more money from a Blu-ray purchase or a digital purchase? Probably a digital purchase.
Yeah. We've got loads.
Yes. Also, thanks to Tom and Josh. Yes, they're in that new movie. Fantastic. The repeat. I'm waving at everybody.
Just
what was the hardest part of the entire process?
Post-production.
Oh my God. We're running out of time.
Post-production was the hardest part because of the isolation. It is available on streaming in India on Vimeo.
Go to our website, cosmosmovieofficial.com. Put your country in. It'll show you where you can see it. And you could use a VPN. Very true. Do you think studying film in university is necessary? No, not at all.
Still great fun.
It's great fun, and it's great for contacts and building a network of other filmmakers. That's brilliant. But if you want to learn, just go on YouTube. Watch.
Move through these faster.
You guys interested in any scripts ready for production? You answer or scroll. There we go. We're there. Right, 30 seconds on Instagram. We're going to stay obviously on Facebook and YouTube, and we'll reset Instagram.
What have you done to my
nothing? Reset Instagram. Go.
20 seconds. I had this all balanced, Xander. See,
it's all going wrong.
See, this is why you don't let other people shoot. Look what happens. You say, what have you done?
directors.
Right. Reset it.
Reset. See you
soon. So, sorry about that. We were ignoring you on these other platforms. Have you read Mark and Jay Duplass's new book? You should. You'll like it. I haven't read it, but yeah, I mean, that would be really cool to read. Always up for learning and being inspired by people like that, because they have so much knowledge to share.
Excuse me. I'm just gonna remove my jumper.
Okay, easily.
I'm going to turn around. Just in case.
Yeah, save us all. Speaking of contacting distributors, how do you guys feel about serialized stories? I'm sorry, we've done that.
Done that one.
There's a good question about your effects here.
Oh, sweet. I can talk about that.
George. Hey, boom, we're back.
You're back. Thank you.
Yeah, George asks, how long did the ending take to make with the CGI you used to show the giant satellite dishes? That scene gives me goosebumps every time I watch it. Well, thank you, George, for a start off.
How long did that take to make? I don't know, actually. You're the one who knows dates and times.
I would say, in terms of your visual effects, probably 6 months.
6 months. So 6 months of visual effects. It took about the radio telescopes. I think I spent about 3 weeks. About 3 weeks modeling and texturing those. Oh, the one, and then I obviously duplicated them. But yeah, it was a long process. What I ended up doing is I used a render farm. Sorry to anyone who's not interested in this, but I'll get through it quickly. But I used to render the images. My computer wasn't powerful enough; it would have taken forever. So I used a render farm called Render Street, I think, and they had like different budget brackets. And I was like, well, I'm going to pay for the lowest budget bracket possible. But they had a limit on the amount of time each frame could take to render before you had to pay for the extra level on the budget bracket thing. So I ended up taking like my shot and sectioning it into quarters and submitting each quarter to render. It was a really cheap, a bit of a cheeky thing to do, I think, but it worked out quite well in the end. But yeah, I used Blender for that. It's open source software, free. Go and check it out. It's fantastic.
Script writing.
I don't know what else I'm looking for. What are you looking for?
That script writing book
that you just got.
Ray French one.
Oh, it should be there.
It's not.
Oh, I know where it is.
Yeah, he worked really hard on that actually, and obviously it took a lot of work. And that was we came up with that idea about the ending of the movie. We thought, how would it be cool for a film that's been so contained, just to end on a big complex like a university campus or an astronomy campus, and we'd have these huge dishes. But before we committed to writing that into the script, we did some tests, some Blender tests, and in fact that Blender test became the very first teaser trailer that we released of a dish rolling up. We will post that on Facebook or something so you can see it. So before we go,
oh sorry,
that's okay. Well, I mean, I'm kind of just filling time.
No,
but you know, before we committed to those dishes, it sums up the whole process of Cosmos. Really, we made sure we could achieve it before we wrote it. Like the whole process, we had a car. It was our car. We had lots of computer screens. The telescope is a tripod flight tube that you put your tripods in when you fly on an airplane, and we knew it looks bulky. It looks like it's been worn and lived in. It's got stickers all over it. If we put that on a tripod, and Xander actually did a visual effects front plate of that, the lens on the front is visual effect. We could sell that as being a big sort of chunky tripod. It was all stuff we had access to. Instead of writing a film about like, set in the Arizona desert, which we're nowhere near, let's make a Western. Well, we can't make a Western for free, but we can write a film set in the woods because we live right by the woods. So it's that kind of filmmaking philosophy. And that's very much the school of Robert Rodriguez, who was mentioned earlier. You know, his Rebel Film School is all about, he had a guitar case and he made a film about an El Mariachi, a guitar, a gunslinging guitarist. And that's his whole philosophy on filmmaking, and it works.
Sweet. I don't know why you were looking for this.
Someone said, is there a good, have you read, is there a particular book that you'd recommend Sophie Rogers to help learn about filmmaking?
This book is called, I'm going to show you the Instagram there. This is called Teach Yourself Screenwriting. Teach Yourself Screenwriting. The cover, I think, has changed since we bought this.
By Ray Frensham.
It's by Ray Frensham. if you're part of our filmmakers group on Facebook, we've got a list of books, and this is one of them that you can look at. This is a really cool book because it cuts through a lot of the theory, I guess, of writing a script.
Yeah.
It cuts through a lot of the kind of like, why do we do this? Why is it important? There are some fantastic books that have, for example,
this is sort of the Sid Field book, screenplay is the Bible. This is the book that probably the first proper screenwriting book that was written, and it documents the process, which probably all modern script writers and films are based on. And this is the Bible. So get a copy of this, Sid Field, if you can. But I interrupted Xander. What he was saying was, this book sort of takes this and makes it a little bit more understandable, manageable. Sorry to interrupt.
That's fine. No, I was reading more questions. Yeah, this is really cool. It's like it's step by step, breaks it down. Do this, do that, do this, do that. And by the end of it, you have a script. So if you follow everything it says in this book, you too
That's what we did.
can write a script. That's kind of cool.
That's
Ray
all-
Frenchman,
that's all we
screenwriting, teaches us.
It's a good book. It's falling apart now. Like the pages are coming out of this.
Yeah, and he says he or she remembers the Real Deal YouTube video years ago when we talked about that film, book.
It's much loved.
Yes, it is. How did you guys go about your distribution? We've kind of already answered that, but I'll do it very quickly. Or more for showing you can make a feature. How do you guys go about it? Don't quite understand the second part of the question, but we made a list of distributors on IMDb, and we just contacted them. There's a limit, like we're not ever going to get Paramount Pictures or something interested in our film, but we can get like high-end indie distributors, which is what we got in the end. So yeah, don't be afraid to reach out to them. They will answer your emails if you keep pestering them.
Yeah, we just sent them an email. A lot of their emails are on their website. Gravitas Ventures even has a form on their website
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
where you can submit your film for consideration. So
They do.
nothing's stopping you if you've got a feature film to just reach out to Gravitas and see what they say.
What else have we got here? We had loads of questions on Instagram.
Dead in the City film. Hello, we met you last week at the
Yes, we did.
the Mockingbird.
Yes, we did. What software? I use After Effects, Maya, and Nuke.
VFX software.
VFX software was Blender, predominantly. A bit of After Effects, but Blender, really.
Blender, maybe. Yeah, so you did all your modeling and compositing. I'm mad.
Hello.
You did all your modeling and your compositing on Blender.
Compositing on Blender, modeling,
Rotate?
rendering. No, that was on After Effects. But
Rotate
yeah.
After Effects.
Yeah, but Maya and Nuke, they're like proper heavy duty industry things. That's kind of cool.
Wow, I think we've got to the bottom of most of these questions.
There were loads of good questions in Instagram that we had to push through really quickly. That's the annoying thing.
There were. I think, I mean, again, like if you guys want to talk about something specific, we've covered a lot of production before in the past. Script writing is always interesting. Post-production was pretty intense. I mean, we were clocking up yesterday. We spent 40 months in post-production on Cosmos. That takes us up to about Christmas of this year, including like all the marketing we did for the release last year, all the trailers, all the online stuff, so there's a lot to talk about post. Distribution, is so really. It's quite contractual. There's a lot of reading contracts, there's a lot of negotiation. Finding an audience is tricky. Well, not tricky, but time consuming. But again, the beauty of the way film streaming is now, you can find an audience for anything. People are looking for what they enjoy seeing, and they can find it now through things like Amazon Prime or YouTube or whatever. So whatever story you've got to tell, have confidence that the people who, and with things like Twitter or Reddit, with all these different forums and hubs, you can find your specific audience. And that's very exciting to connect with them. And our specific audience, we feel predominantly, is the filmmaking audience. Yes, Cosmos is about astronomy and it's sci-fi, but we feel we made a decision early on that we wanted to connect most with filmmakers because we're filmmakers, you're filmmakers. And we wanted to document our journey for ourselves. So we had a record and a diary, so we could look back and go like, oh, look at us there, and look at what we were doing there, but also to share what we had learned. And we say it time and again, you know, we were inspired by filmmakers who had made films in a similar way, filmmakers like Gareth Edwards or Robert Rodriguez, or filmmakers less known. And we wanted to pay that forward. We'd been inspired, and we wanted to pay that inspiration forward to you so that you can make your movies too. I mean, you can do it without our help anyway. But, you know, if there's anything that we can share, or if you have any specific questions that you want to DM us on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, we try our very best to be as open as possible and tell it how it is.
This is true. Hey, so excited I made this stream. Hey, ideas. Thanks for being here. You're cool. Is there a key role in pre-production, production, post that you must have on the next one? I would say an assistant director would be flipping awesome. Yeah. Because we didn't have that. We had each other, and we were, you know, responsible for that, which is cool. But there's another question up there. I don't know if you saw, but
yeah, an assistant director.
Assistant director would be fantastic because they can really help keep things moving. But we kind of had that. We had the Cosmos family. We all just moved it forwards together.
I would say in post, all disciplines in post-production are obviously incredibly skilled and important: editing, music, visual effects, etc. But from a personal point of view, because I took on the sound design of the film, one of the disciplines I gained the most respect for was that of the Foley designers and artists. They work really hard. Their work is unsung. Nobody ever really talks about Foley. You know, most things in post, in fact, most things in film, you only notice them when they're done badly. You know, if Foley's really bad or films are really badly edited, you notice them. But when they're perfect, when they're invisible and seamless, you never notice. And these people are incredibly talented, and it would be fun to collaborate with a Foley artist. But it would be fun to collaborate with an editor. It would be fun to collaborate with a visual effects artist.
Yeah, looking forward to that. It's going to be cool. Stefan says, how much of the dialogue was ADR? Not an enormous amount.
I 4%, 5%, maybe not even that. No, it can't even have been that much.
Yeah,
maybe 5%.
Something along those lines. 5% maybe. But it was cool because, like,
again, that's all on the Instagram. It's all documented on the Instagram.
Behind the scenes videos and all sorts. But it's cool because where, you know, if you had all of the equipment and all of the people and everything, you'd probably do ADR in a nice booth somewhere, and then you'd make it sound like it was in the environment it was recorded in, because they probably wouldn't be able to replicate that environment after the shoot. But we could. We shot the film in our car, so we got everyone back in the car and we just re-recorded dialogue. So watching the film now, I can't remember what's ADR and what's not. No. And I am actually, it's one of the things I'm most proud about in the movie, because sometimes ADR is so obvious. It is like slaps you in the face when you're watching a movie. It's like, that's ADR. And I don't think Cosmos does that. Hopefully not. Let us know if there's a bit of ADR.
People who don't know what ADR is, just in case you are new to filmmaking or you're not a filmmaker but you're curious in the live stream, I think it stands for automated dialogue replacement. If it does, there's nothing automatic about it.
Or additional
dialogue replacement. And it's where dialogue that is unaudible or polluted in some way is re-recorded for the benefit of clarity, or maybe to reword things.
Yeah, we did that actually. Yeah, we had quite a lot of colloquialisms in the film, and when we got into the edit, we were like, "Do you think people are going to know what they mean by that? Like, is that just a thing in the UK that we say?"
Yeah.
So we kind of tweaked a few things like that.
So we've got a question here, which is the Pocket is 12-bit. I think so. I mean,
I don't know.
I don't really know. We shot in ProRes LT primarily because we just didn't have.
Oh, he's replying. Is Cosmos shot on 8-bit or 10-bit?
Right. Well, there you go. So, I don't know. Sorry. The Pocket is 12-bit. So we shot in ProRes LT. We could have shot ProRes HQ, ProRes. We didn't shoot. We could have shot RAW, but we just didn't have the space. Again, it's a no-budget movie. We had 32 gigabyte SD cards. That gave us in LT 40-ish minutes per SD card, and we shot 96 SD cards. It was about 1.5 terabytes of footage. And if we'd have shot anything higher than LT, we'd probably still be shooting, we'd still be editing. And although I know people have different opinions on quality and bit rates and all this sort of thing, I hope, at least I think, that most people who are watching the film who aren't filmmakers won't know that it's shot on a pocket camera. They won't tell that it's shot in LT. So, you know, shoot what works for you.
Don't first.
We also have another good question here. Sorry. A picture profile was film picture profile, if you're interested.
Yes.
Were there any major changes to Cosmos in post? Not really. We cut a few sequences down, trimmed a few scenes out. Because, again, one thing we did learn on Cosmos is that in the script writing books, they tell you there's a rule of 1 page equals 1 screen minute. So a 100-page script is a 100-minute movie. That wasn't our experience on Cosmos. So we wrote a 100-page script, and it turned into a 127-minute movie. So we found that it was really like a 1.5 minute to 1 page ratio. And that was more just because we wanted to give the film a little bit more breathing room. People don't talk and interact as quickly as they do on paper. So there you go. That was one thing that we learned. And in our next film, we'll be writing an even shorter script, maybe an 85-page, maybe even an 80-page script that we know will draw out, and we can add that tone and that atmosphere to.
And Julia says, are you interested in producing an existing script? I guess so. I don't really know. We'll see. That would be kind of cool. Did you get permits for forest scenes since you were working on such a low budget?
Good question.
The forest scenes, all locations were given to us with permission. So we didn't get permits for the forest because it was actually part of someone's property. So they had this nice
private forest,
wooded area at the back, at the end of their garden. Not really a garden. They've got nice land around their house, and then part of it is wooded. And so we asked if we could film there, and they said yes. So that was great.
So we had permission from the landowner, but we weren't filming in like public woods.
No.
We didn't have to speak to the council or Birmingham or whatever because we were filming on private property. But yes, we did get release forms signed and all that sort of stuff.
We did. It was quite spooky in that forest as well.
It could have been
at night.
At the time.
Yeah.
DNG files are huge. They are.
Oh no, we avoided that.
Trailer looks absolutely awesome. Thank you so much. The editing is fantastic. Can't wait to see it. Can't wait to hear what you make of it. Thank you so much.
Check it out, Carlo.
Would love to know what you make of it.
Guys, this is awesome. We should do a film swap sometime. I'll show you mine. You show me yours. Haha.
Let's do it. We saw your trailer, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Looks cool.
It looks really, really good.
Yeah.
In fact, that's in the film group, isn't it? Is that in the film group?
It might be.
Yeah. Out of interest, how much footage did you end up with?
We shot 96 rolls. It was about, I think we shot about 96 hours of footage. Oh.
So earlier you were wrong.
I was wrong. It was 91. I've got the clapperboard up here. So I know for certain we shot 91 rolls.
And we got about 32 minutes in each.
Yeah, maybe there were a few more unslated.
Well, then that's about 50 hours, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's not. I know it's 96.
That's weird.
I'll look into that for you. I've got it written down. Hang on.
What have we got here? How do you approach the blocking on the day? Are your storyboards more of a safety net or a rule book? This is a really cool question. Blocking can evolve when you're there because people come up with ideas and you're like, you know what, that's going to be great. But blocking your head beforehand with your storyboards. So they are... The storyboards are a safety net, really. You don't have to stick to them, but you know, at the very least, if you just get those shots, you're going to create a sequence that's great. It's not mundane. It's not kind of paint by numbers, pedestrian filmmaking. It's not like wide, mid, close, wide, mid, close, wide, mid, close. It's we're going to go from here to here in this shot. He's going to turn over his shoulder. We'll track the camera around. We'll reveal the computer. Then he'll turn into camera. Bam, that's going to be the shot. And I think that's really important because when you're on location, we're certainly not at the stage yet where we can be on location and we can just kind of on the fly riff and go, oh, yes, sweet. This will be the shot and we'll go with it. People can. Spielberg can, but he's a master and he's been doing it for decades. But he used storyboards when he was doing like Raiders of the Lost Ark and all that kind of thing. So, yeah, that's what I would say. Not a rule book.
I can confirm 61 hours of footage.
61 hours.
61 hours, which makes more sense there. 40-minute rolls on 40-minute cards and 91 rolls. We ended up with 61 hours, and we cut a 2-hour movie out of that, which is like a 30-to-1 shooting ratio, which is actually about right for a feature. Sounds high, but there you go.
Just jumping back to the storyboards for a sec.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Interrupted again.
No, it's cool. I just thought of something. That all depends on what kind of movie you're making, because if you're making like a more of a realistic, I guess, movie, and your cinematography style is handheld and it's on the fly and it's almost like a documentary, then by all means write a shot list and just do it that way. You can go with it. But if you're trying to kind of create something that feels structured and feels like it has production value, or more production value than it does. That's kind of why we did it on Cosmos. We felt that if we wanted to make a movie feel expensive, we would shoot it how expensive movies are shot. Then storyboard the hell out of it in the comfort of your own home with some cool music on. Enjoy, and that's a cool moment because you're kind of getting to see the film for the first time. So yeah, that's great.
Carlo says, when The Wrong is finished, we'll be sending you premiere tickets. We'd love to see that. Wow, thank you so much. We'd love to be there. Can't wait to see what you've made.
Yes, please.
That's so great. Thank you so much.
Luca says, how many people did you work with on the movie? The team consisted of, the core team was Elliot, myself, and our mom. That's the core crew for 80% of the shoot. And then we had 3 actors. So Arjun, Josh, and Tom. That's the core team. We also had Mark Bayliss, Natalia. They came and helped us out. Our friends, Simon Worthington, Joe Bunce. So we had friends who would come, and on a handful of nights, they might do the smoke machine, or they might push the camera, or something like that. But the core team was 6 people, and we had another actor come in at the end, Ben Vardy, and you'll know Ben if you've seen the movie. And of course, Chris David, who wrote the soundtrack. So we're looking, yeah, and Chris Duncan and Mark Heath, who kind of scored the movie. Well, they did like concept soundtrack, really. They came up with themes and things, and they were originally going to write the score to the film, but they couldn't in the end because of their work commitments. So, yeah, what is that? Me, you, Mom, Tom, Josh, Arj, and Chris. That's a core of 7 with kind of 2 or 3 friends who would come and help out, and Ben, of course. All important Dave. So, yeah, there you go.
Paul, thank you for your comment, by the way. Really amazing to connect with you, and looking forward to seeing what you do with Carlo, and thank you for checking out Cosmos and enjoying it. Hopefully it's inspiring, and like we've said before, if you've got any questions, ping them our way. We'll do our best to answer them.
Luciano, I hope that's how you say it. What was the process of the Blu-ray release? Did you outsource or manage yourselves? Was it expensive? We didn't manage it ourselves. It's something the distributor handled. So we can't really give you much information about that. We might be releasing a kind of custom cover for the Blu-ray because we kind of wanted to be involved in the artwork on that, and we didn't get the chance to do that for the release because it got pushed out quickly. So we might do like something you could download. If you bought the DVD or Blu-ray, then you might be able to download it, print it, and you could put your kind of the custom cover in there. But yeah, I don't know regarding costs or anything. I think it's pretty much all made to order, that kind of thing. What else have we got here?
There's a question here. There's a question by Thomas here on YouTube about how did you color grade your DCP and with what software? So we color graded on Apple Color 2 because we had it. The big one of the big things about Cosmos was because it was no budget and because we wanted to do it all sort of I don't know what I'm trying to say really, like
in camera.
No, but like not sort of pine after the best equipment available. The whole ethos was use the equipment you've got to hand. And we had Apple Color. And we now have DaVinci Resolve because we downloaded it for free to help us make the DCP. But at the time, we had Apple Color. And we cut on Final Cut Pro 7. Lots of people can't believe that we cut on that. FCP 7 came out in 2009. And lots of people are like, whoa, it's really old. And how did you handle it? And the thing about it is Final Cut Pro 5, Final Cut Pro 7, they're old now, but Oscar-winning movies were cut on Cold Mountain was cut on Final Cut 5. David Fincher used Final Cut 7. The Coen brothers, for Final Cut has obviously progressed, as have others, but it's important to remember that this gear, this software, although now a decade old, was the industry bleeding edge at one point. So all we were doing is picture cutting or color grading simply. It was good enough for Fincher, and it's good enough for us. We color graded on Apple Color, as I said. Apple Color allows you to do power windowing, vignetting. You can put LUTs in. It's actually surprisingly advanced. You'd think, oh well, LUTs didn't exist in 2005 or 2009. Well, they did, and you can import your own LUTs in. So yeah, we lit a lot with color. We did low key lighting, so it's very contrasty, very color saturated. We didn't want to light everything with white light, as was the trend a few years ago when we were starting Cosmos, and then force color in the grade, like tint the shadows blue and make the skin tones orange as they used to do, not so much more now. But we didn't want to force color in post. We wanted to light it on the day with lots of splashes of color, lots of blue, lots of green, lots of red, and then really just up the saturation in post. So it had a very on-set natural feel. We wanted the actors to interact with that lighting. We wanted blue light to come off the computer screens. It's kind of an old school way of doing it now, but it works really well, and it meant that we didn't need DaVinci Resolve and all its super power in order to grade Cosmos.
No. Stefan didn't notice any ADR. Thank you. He said it was perfect. I was wondering if there was any. How difficult was it working with the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera in low light?
Easy.
Pretty easy. Yeah. We had this speed booster, as we've mentioned, so that gave us an extra stop, which was much appreciated.
Well, it doubles your ISO.
Yeah. And we did use some noise removal software in post as well on a few shots. I think that was called Neat Video. We did use that a couple of times just to help us out, but no, it worked fine. So
yeah, it wasn't. I guess it is low light.
It's very low light, actually.
It is low light film, but we just brought the light in as close as we could. We had the 3 panel lights for the exteriors, and the interior stuff was easy because we had the LED panel lights shining through the back windows, faking the moonlight nighttime ambience, and the whole interior of the car was lit practically with angle poise lamps and desk lamps and computer screens, and we would turn a lamp off here, and one of the actors might hold an iPad in the lap of another actor to help us out, and it was all quite easy in the interior. Well, not easy, but doable. The outside stuff was a little trickier, but no different to anything you would have done before. We just lit it, looked at the monitor. We didn't use waveforms. We didn't use histograms. We didn't use a light meter. We didn't have the time, quite frankly. We had a lot to get through, so we would color calibrate our monitor. We turned it on, and we trusted what we saw on the monitor. We lit by eye, looking at the actors and looking at the monitor and just going good, it looks good. And then some of those shots needed a little bit sewing together in the grade, bring the brightness down, make it all seamless. But you can watch tutorials sometimes online, and sometimes they can make it all seem a little bit more complicated than it needs to be. Basically, trust your eyes, look at the monitor. Do you like how it looks? If you do, roll. If you don't, keep tweaking it till you do.
Yep. Guido and also Ideas Animation ask about the actors. So Guido says, how did you guys get such amazing actors?
Well, they are amazing guys.
They're amazing actors, and I guess the easiest thing to do would be to ask them how we managed that. But we reached out to them, so we found them all in different places. Ironically, none of them really through kind of traditional acting or casting sources. So we didn't find any of them on an acting website. We found them on Twitter, or we cross paths with them in everyday in our work or in everyday life, and we jumped on those opportunities. So I guess always keep your ear to the ground and always keep an eye out for actors, and ask people. We did a kind of a corporate film, and that's how we found Tom England, who plays Mike in the movie. And he was running a course for young people, and it was all about confidence building and all this. And we stood back and we were like, I wonder he's an actor, because a lot of what he's saying is kind of about how to overcome stage fright and all that kind of stuff. So we approached him, and he was an actor and he was interested. So in terms of the practical side of it, always keep your eyes open, because there are people everywhere. Josh, we Twitter, because he was video blogging. He'd hurt his back or he'd hurt his leg, I think. I can't remember quite what, but he was doing a theatre show. And so he was kind of video blogging to say, I'm not in the show, but this is what we're doing. And we thought, this guy's got a lot of passion for acting, because he's recording it. And we ended up contacting him, and that worked out wonderfully. But I think if you have a passion for your story and you're kind of like certain, I think that goes a long way. People kind of move with you on that. And I hope the guys who are in Cosmos kind of felt from early on, felt a confidence in the project, and felt certain and safe that this was going to be a good thing to be part of. So
Absolutely.
I think if you kind of emit that certainty and you have this love for the story you're telling, I think people go like, you know what, I got a good feeling about this.
Carlo on YouTube says, please can you say where I can watch Cosmos? I didn't catch the start of the Q&A. Cosmos is available on all VOD platforms. So it's available on iTunes to buy and or rent. It's available on Amazon Prime, Vimeo, YouTube, PlayStation, Fandango, Redbox.
The easiest thing to do, Carlo,
Google Play.
If you go to cosmosmovieofficial.com, there's a tab and it says where to see Cosmos, and then you put your country in, and it'll tell you what options you've got, because not all of those options are available worldwide. So I think Vimeo is the only platform that can be seen everywhere in the world. But yeah, go to cosmosmovieofficial.com and have a look. Luca says, what's the name of the film group? If you go to our Facebook page, so facebook.com/Eleander Pictures, I think it is. But if you just search in Facebook for Cosmos Movie 2019, it will come up.
It'll pop up.
And then on that Facebook page, it will list the groups that are run by the page, and it's called the Cosmos Filmmakers Network. And then we're just all sharing films and shorts and ideas and memes and GIFs and all sorts of stuff.
Supporting each other. Carlo says one of his actors was in 1970.
Whoa!
Wow, that's cool.
That is cool.
No pressure. He's only worked with Sam Mendes, Carlo.
I know.
And he lived 2 doors away from me, and you never knew. There you go. See, you just never know. You ask and find out.
They're everywhere.
Stefan says, what was your battery solution for the camera for a whole day shoot? We had the Blackmagic battery. The original battery on the original Pocket wasn't great at all. I think the Pocket cameras have become much better battery solutions. We had the little Canon batteries, which I think they take now, don't they?
They do.
But at the time they didn't. So we had a little power pack that ran multiple Canon batteries at the same time. And we just had a little charger station wherever we were filming, except if we were filming out in the woods when we had no power supply at all. And we would keep batteries rotating and keep the batteries charged. However, what's quite good about not having any power supply, like we did in the woods, is it teaches you discipline. We had to keep turning the camera off. We couldn't just walk away from the camera and leave the camera running or on, because we would, once we were out of battery, that was it. That's a wrap. Time to go home, whether you've got all what you need for today or not. So I think in filmmaking, there's a tendency to get a bit slack sometimes with your standards, leave lights on, leave the camera on, just walk away and have a chat with the monitor on and have a cup of tea. And you know, like this, that's the international symbol for a cup of tea. And that's okay when you've got the backup of having batteries lying around on charge. But then if you have those standards and you're out filming in the wilderness, you'll soon run out of battery. So it's always good to have high standards and turn the camera off, protect your gear, don't leave it running. Also, camera sensors, they don't last forever. The longer you run them and the more heat they're exposed to, they degrade in quality. You get dead pixels the more you just leave a camera on or running. So actually you can extend the life and the quality of your camera image if you look after the camera and turn it off. The same goes for all batteries, actually. If you just leave lights running and burning and keep charging them and letting them deplete and charging them and letting them deplete, they do lose their lifespan over time. So I sound so boring and old, but that's discipline.
Luciano says, that's a cool name, by the way. Luciano Piero D'Amato. Amazing. Which part of production did each of you enjoy the most and why? Well, I ever thought I would have said this when I was doing it, but the shoot, I think, is probably it, particularly towards the end when we knew we were on our way and it was almost there. Did I mess up your name, by the way? Sorry if I did. Yeah, getting that momentum and feeling like this was it and finding the flow and realizing that we had this really cool team, this little family of like 6 people for the most part. We were all just in it for the love. That was awesome. It was so tiring. It was really mad, and it felt like our hair was on fire all the time. And you'd get home and you just fall asleep, and then you'd get up and you boom back on it again. And everything was there. Responsibility was just all the time. But looking back now, I kind of miss it.
I would say the shoot.
The shoot was like so special.
Post-production was very calm, very even keel. You're sitting in chairs, drinking tea and having biscuits and looking at monitors, but it's also very isolating. You're stuck indoors, you're not interacting with as many people. It's not so active, you're not running around being dynamic. So it's very relaxing, and it's often very welcome after the shoot and the chaos of the shoot. But I would agree with Xander, I enjoyed the shoot. On YouTube, Thomas asks, how long did it take you guys to do a 5.1 sound mix?
Answer.
Well, the 5.1 mix on Cosmos was done after the film was complete. I did the initial mix in stereo. I don't know why, but I did because at the time I didn't know how to mix 5.1, quite frankly. And we also thought that the film would predominantly be a video on demand movie, listened to with headphones or out of stereo speakers. So I didn't really feel the need early on to do a 5.1 mix. But then when we got our distribution deal and we realized the film was going to get a theatrical run, and actually 5.1 might be a more legitimate thing because of the Blu-ray or whatnot, a 5.1 was required. So then a sort of a 2-month period, which I spent this time last year actually, between March and April 2019, I broke the stereo mix into stems. So I had like the ambient stem, the Foley stem, the dialogue stem, the music stem, all the stems, and I exported them.
All of the stems.
In Final Cut Pro, we had 100 audio tracks of music and car effects and computer keyboards and everything. So I broke those down into, I think, about 10 different stems, and then I went into Soundtrack Pro 2 again, not because it's not the best, most up-to-date software, but it's what we have. It was part of our Final Cut Studio package that we got years ago. And I did 5.1 placement of these different stems to create a 5.1 mix. And I learned a hell of a lot. I actually reached out to some local professional sound mixers and designers in our local city, and I picked their brains and I showed them what we'd made. And I said, what do we do? And they were really kind. And one guy in particular, gave me loads of his time and said, look, I'm not going to do this for you because you should do it all yourself like you have done. And we were like, please do it for us. Well, please, we don't know what to do. And he was like, no, I'm not going to do it, but I'm going to tell you how to do it. And I was so frustrated at the time. I was like, oh, come on, please. But actually, he was right. I'm glad I did it. I learned a lot, and I'm very proud of the result. So again, another long answer to your short question. It was about a 2-month period. Very intense and so much to learn, but very doable. Not as complicated as you might.
We actually made it more complicated, I think.
We did. Doing it all in stereo and then breaking it into stems is not the way to do it. You can do 5.1 from scratch and just place things as you go.
Yeah. Chris Hewitt has joined us.
Hello, Chris.
Hello, Chris. Chris and Helen.
Thanks for checking in.
Thanks for checking in, and we will send you the stuff.
I hope we'll get to see you soon.
Yeah, we will, I'm sure. It's going to be wonderful to see you soon. Very excited about that. Questions. What shotgun mic did you use?
We used a Sennheiser 416.
Oh, there you
go. With the Zoom F4N, H4N field recorder, the little one that everyone's got. There you go.
Yep. Yeah, we didn't have any radio mics or anything like that. We just used shotgun mic. I was talking to someone the other day. I think they may be on the stream on Facebook, and we were talking about radio mics versus larger mics, boom mics.
You knew it, Josh.
And you knew it, Josh. And I said, I remember speaking to a sound man once, and they said, a microphone the size of a pea can't really compete with a microphone the size of, a stick or a foot.
I think when it comes to microphones, size matters.
Bigger is better. So if you can use it, if you can use a shotgun mic or a large mic or whatever kind of mic you want to use, then do it. Get it in there because it's going to be better quality sound.
Stefan says, how many backups did you keep of the projects and how do you usually back up? We've got 3 backups of the film, and we literally just plug the hard drives in. We've got 3 individual hard drives, and we just copy and paste and back them up. Again, the old-fashioned way. I will copy and paste and make sure there's dupes. I know you can get software, can't you, that can double check everything's the same on a hard drive.
You can.
You use that, but I didn't. But we just had little desktop hard drives, and we keep them separate. So we have one off out of our house at a relative's house, so that if anything happened here, there's still a copy elsewhere.
Off-site. Andrew says, proper inspired by what you guys have done. We're aiming to make a feature film this year ourselves and muddling through the process over at youtube.com/Andrew Tooves.
Amazing, let's check it out.
He says, my question, you mentioned at some point using a gas-powered smoke machine. Was that hired or something you built yourself?
It was something we bought.
Now, this was probably the single largest expense on Cosmos, I think.
It cost more than the camera did.
Yeah.
Although we already had the camera.
We already had the camera for work, but yeah, it was the single largest expense on the film. And that's kind of hilarious because it's just a smoke machine. But we thought that it would add such production value to our night shoots to be able to put the smoke in the background, put the light through the smoke. It feels Hollywood and all that kind of stuff. Very E.T. and,
I'll actually reply to that. So Artem. It was called an Artem.
Oh, yeah.
Gas powered.
And it's actually a really cool thing to have. Very, very useful. And but yeah, we were like, basically for the amount of time that we needed it to rent it, we probably would have been like 2/3 of the way to buying it. So we just thought actually, I think at the time the plan was we'll buy it and then we'll sell it once we've made the movie. But actually, it's just a cool thing to own.
It was so useful, we kept it.
Yeah, it's really, really good. It's like the proper smoke machine that they use in big movies. You can really pump out a load of them.
There's a lovely comment here from Sarah King. I'm Oliver. I'm Carlo's son. The wrong director.
That's the film, yeah.
I'm 9 and I love your film.
Oh,
Sarah, wow. Thank you so much.
Oliver.
I'm sorry. Oh, it says Sarah King. Sorry. Hi, Oliver. Yeah. I'm stupid. Xander's the brave. Oliver, thank you for joining us and thank you for checking out our film. And we're thrilled that you loved it. If you get a telescope and let's go stargazing, like that's our hope.
Join the astronauts.
And also, good luck making the movie. I hope you'll be involved.
In Motion Film Group, I want to run your sound. You are welcome. Please, next time we make a movie, let's talk.
Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen, people. Avocado video. I love a good avo.
No failed drives, yes. Yes, like no failed drive, like in the movie. Yeah, one of our mates actually, on seeing Cosmos, he was like, you do realise you've made a film about filmmaking, don't you? And we were like, what? And he was like, it's like crew stuck in a car. They are constantly carrying gear around. They're rigging, they're de-rigging. They're saving things on. Their hard drives are failing. Their batteries are running out. He said, you've literally made a film about filmmaking. And we were like, oh, yeah. Oliver's in the film. Amazing. Yes, that's so cool.
Mr. Mookins, are you saying you are in Motion Film Group? Are you the guy who wants to work on our sound? That would be wonderful.
I look forward to this, Oliver. I look forward to seeing this film, The Wrong.
Thank you, Oliver, for checking out our film. Do you guys have any experience in getting filming like the BFI? Any tips, parallel videos? Well, when we were trying to set up, Mr. Mookins, you are in Motion Film. Okay, bro. When we were trying to set up Encounter, the film that we tried to get off the ground before we made Cosmos, We went through all of those routes. So we did a business plan and we contacted the BFI.
Hi, Nick.
We registered for all sorts of the kind of documentation that you can use to become a British film, and then you can access funds. But it's so competitive. And they're also looking for a really specific kind of movie. I'm no expert on it, but their goal, they're providing like this soft public money. And it's not necessarily from a business perspective. It's more of like a cultural diversity and a kind of cultural importance fund, really. They want to tell stories that are like about people, that represent, and all these important things, and use film for like a educational medium. And we wanted to make Cosmos, which is kind of just pure entertainment, really. It's just designed to make people feel good. You sit and watch it, and as such, I don't think they'd be that interested in Cosmos. They weren't interested in Counter.
Well, we did. I'm sure. Did we not reach out to? No, we didn't.
No, we didn't even try. So we don't really know raising funds. We haven't done Kickstarter. We haven't got BFI funding or any kind of investment. Everything we've made, short films and Cosmos,
and our documentaries and everything.
Yeah, with the exception of those World War I films.
They were funded.
But it's cool. It's really liberating because you make it and then you sell it. It's great. Didn't have to answer to anybody. You don't have to.
No, you don't have. Yeah, you make what you want. Paul has asked a question here. Carlo is currently teaching you about the Blackmagic camera. Incredible piece of kit, which it is. Underrated, actually. Particularly the original pocket, and maybe all the kits, because of their price bracket.
All of the pockets.
I think people think they're not that good, and people overlook them, and they want something with more resolution, or they want something. Well, they've now got more resolution, but they want something with more prestige, like an Epic or something. And actually, they are. I really like the look of them. I like the picture they make. How did you find using this camera, and will you use it for future productions? We love using our pocket. We absolutely love it. We've used it on everything since we bought it for a project way back when. Used it professionally, and we've shot short documentaries on it. We've shot a short film on it, Assault on the Senses, which is a little night lighting test film that we did, available on our Vimeo and on our YouTube if you're interested in watching that, about a soldier, World War II soldier. We've filmed documentaries on location in France and all sorts. Like, they're great cameras. And so yes, we have used it on other projects other than Cosmos, and I know actually that we will be using it on another documentary soon. And we do all like our interviews on it. So if you've seen the featurette, the making of featurette that we did, we shot those interviews on the Blackmagic pocket. And yeah, great camera.
A couple of cool questions. There's one from George that we missed. We'll go back to in a sec. But Thomas says, did you guys use any car rig for the driving scene? We had I think it's called a limpet mount, which is basically a sucker.
Yeah.
You know, like in the movies where the spies kind of climb up
a glass wall,
and they're like, It was like that. It's one of those like sucker things. So yeah, we suckered that to the front of our car, and then
it's actually a professional filming mount. Though.
It is.
It's not like one that you use to put windows.
Yeah, but you could probably just use one of those.
You could, but it's got an attachment for like a magic arm.
It does.
So you can mount. Anyway, yes, we used a little rig, a sucker. I'm interrupted. Go on, Karen.
Hashtag orcs. Yeah, we used this mount. We suckered it to the front of our car. We then used the magic arm, as I said, to rig our Blackmagic camera. It was a bit nerve-wracking because we did that before we even shot any of the actors or any of the actual kind of movie. So we were worried we were going to come back, arrive home, and look at the front of the car and realise the camera was disappeared. Luckily, it didn't. And we had a little optical flat, like a clear ND filter, a clear filter on the front of the lens just to protect it. And that's about it, really. Nothing too fancy.
Yeah. Are you going to use the Pocket 6K in your next film? We don't have a Pocket 6K. No, not yet. No. That Pocket 6K was won in our competition by the great Stefan, who's with us on Instagram, or might not be with us anymore, but I think he is. But yeah, we don't have a Pocket 6K. Stefan, can we borrow your 6K? Can we all borrow your 6K?
What's the 6K like? This question was like, what was the most challenging day in production?
Most challenging day? Single day?
I think I remember.
That's tricky.
I think the first day in the garage was a bit crazy. Oops. What are you doing? I think the first day when we were in the garage was a bit mad. I remember looking at the clock at like 12 in the afternoon, midday, and going like, we are so behind schedule here. We're well behind. And then there was like some people doing road works. Mm-hmm. There's a guy with a chainsaw cutting a tree down, all sorts of stuff. So it really,
there was a clock tower, wasn't there?
Clock tower bonging on the hour and a quarter past and all this stuff. So yeah, that was challenging. But
I would say during the shoot, at least, when we filmed in the woods and it was just me and you, and I just had enough.
And it flipped.
I flipped out, man. I was at the end of my tether and got very frustrated and just, nothing was working. And it was only me and Xander. We were getting shots. If you've seen the movie, at the very beginning in the woods where there's tracking shots through trees and we had the light moving under the trees. And it was just me and Xander. One of us had an LED light panel and one of us was on the camera. And it just wasn't working, and I got annoyed. He
picked up a log and he threw it.
Yeah, I was just like, just threw it into the woods.
Yeah, it was quite funny.
Listening to this while I write my next short film 4 pages in. Yes, Henry.
What's your short about, Henry? Tell us. We'd love to hear. How did you keep the energy between the different shooting blocks? Was it hard to get back into it? No, it wasn't actually. It was like that energy just rolled straight on through. The actors were always passionate and excited about getting back to the shoot. So
they're great guys. It was fun to just be back with the guys, wasn't it?
Yeah, if anything, it was like,
we all loved it.
Yeah,
and
we were building up to that moment.
We were looking forward to it, and we had a great family making the film, and we had a lot of fun making the film as well. We talk a lot about how hard it is and the long hours, and we tried. Yes, we all know, you're all filmmakers, you know how hard it is, but you also know how much fun it is. And we had a real laugh, and the guys are great, and we had a nice time with our mom, and she was part of the team, and we had a lovely time. So
yeah.
We're all out of questions.
We are out of questions.
That is almost 2 hours, 1 hour 51.
We might be there. Really.
I can't believe people are sticking with us, and they.
Thank you for joining us.
We'll
say something. We'll say something that we said at the beginning of the stream if you weren't here, but definitely go and if you're following us on Instagram, go back into our posts, scroll all the way down, and you will see a really kind of in-depth chronology of the making of Cosmos.
All there.
Behind the scenes. It's really cool. And also on Facebook, there's a whole library of videos of like live streams from location, video blogs from each day that we shot, and all that kind of stuff. So there's loads of content out there that might be slipping past. We're also getting some astronauts caps embroidered as we speak. They will be done, finished next week. We're going to have 50 of those made, and we'll be putting up information about where you can grab those if you guys are interested. Don't know how much yet, but we'll try and make them affordable. I don't know about shipping and all that stuff, but we'll figure that out. The script to the film is also available on cosmosmovieofficial.com. It's there to check out.
You all do follow us on social media. The bio links that we have, particularly on Instagram, the link tree, if you click that, everything you need to know about Cosmos is on there. There's all the links to the website, links to the soundtrack, links to the different social media platforms. There's links to where you can buy the Blu-ray. It's all there. So click that bio link and everything you need. And if you want to check out Instagram, I was just looking through. So for example, I'm showing Instagram here. It's Instagramception. Instaception. We've got I can't focus, but here's green screen, shooting. This is really not working.
Get right up into the camera.
Look, this is so bad.
What an amateur.
We've got these are some behind the scenes of filming on the green screen, and we've got filming in the car, and we've got filming out and having lunch, and all the stuff. God, this is so bad. Sorry, guys. What am I doing? I don't know.
Anyway, long and short of it is check it out.
It's all there.
If you're interested.
There's all the. If I scroll back all the way, I will be able to scroll back and try to show you stuff you won't be able to see, because.
We want to make a little page on our website, which is going to be the Astronauts Club. So if you buy yourself a cap when they're available very soon, take a picture, send it to us. There'll be some instructions with the cap. But if you want to be part of Astronauts Club, then you send us this picture and we can put it up on the website, and we'll have an official page of all the astronauts around the world, and that's going to be.
So we've got photos here, like on the Instagram, for example. Like this is a photo of the guys during the shoot. Oh, this is a photo. Sorry. Oh dear.
Yeah, I can see.
Anyway, like this is Xander, Josh, and Tom sitting on a log in the woods. It's all there. So scroll all the way back. There's all the photos of us from the very beginning, and it's all there.
Well, I think we are probably at the end of the stream there. There are no new questions coming in.
Henry just told us that his short film is about two young brothers who steal a shotgun. Whoa. That'd be cool. I like the sound of that.
Oh yeah, and Julia, how long until we see the start of a new project?
Who knows?
Hopefully soon, but we're gonna share the journey
from what we've done, and one of them is a sci-fi movie. So,
but they're all kind of like audience-facing, fun adventure. You know.
Yeah,
Cosmos
this year,
yeah.
we're going to start working this year. Try and partner with a producer and get going.
Get some budget rolling and all sorts. So yeah. Thanks for joining us, Stefan.
Thank you for joining us, Stefan.
Thank you all for joining us. In fact, I guess we should call it there because it's 2 hours in. Yes. So thank you for all your support, your continued love, and for checking out Cosmos. If you haven't already, can you go and drop us an IMDb review?
Plug.
It's a bit of a plug, but just go on there. It really helps us out. So if you could spare 2 minutes, or a rating, just give us a star rating, or just say, this movie was okay, I guess.
This movie sucked, man.
Yeah. Fight the haters, because there's some haters on there. That would be lovely, but no pressure. You guys are giving us enough as it is. You're hanging out with us and talking movies, so that means a lot. So, yeah.
I hope this has been useful. I mean, we want to do this sort of thing with you guys. We want to reach out and share what we've learned, but also we don't want you to just think we like the sound of our own voices and love talking for talking's sake. So we want to keep it specific and focused. And if you've got any ideas of how we can make this better, how we can share information that's more valuable, and actually also if you've got any ideas for content that you want us to share. So for example, one of the things we're thinking of doing is sort of, they do these script comparison videos where they have sections of the script underneath from the actual scene. If you've got any examples or ideas of things that we can share that you would find interesting, let us know. We don't want to just blabber on and, you think we like the sound of our own voices. So keep us focused and let us know.
Yeah, we're going to do a director's commentary as well. We're making a kind of longer making of documentary. We're going to do some video tutorials about like Cosmos related stuff. And also we're thinking of doing a live stream where we get the actors on like Google Hangout, and then you guys can talk to them as well. And that's kind of cool.
That'd be nice. They've got so much to talk about as well, about their discipline and what
they can tell you what it was about the film and about the story and us that made them want to work on it without a budget.
Love the brown accent.
Thank you. Cool. Well, you all have a wonderful weekend. It is Friday night here, 10 o'clock in the UK. All stay safe. There's a lot going on out there at the moment, and all be very careful. Look after yourselves, and thank you for joining us, and for timing. Peace. Much love. Thanks for being part of Team Cosmos and the Astronauts.
Thanks, guys. It really means a lot to see you and hear from you, and sending you lots of love. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
See you soon. Have a good evening. It's Friday.
Yay. D-Rig. End live stream. Bye-bye, Facebook. Bye-bye. Callum, I know you just joined, but it'll be available, and thanks for being cool. You're cool.
Yeah, thanks, Callum, by the way, for the other day.
Awesome.
We haven't really stopped talking about it. We had a real blast.
So see you later, Facebook.
That's YouTube.
Oh, sorry, yeah. See you. Oh, we're still live on Instagram. Oh, dear, oh dear.